Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, the Friday edition, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with Greg Hansen. Greg, we've been talking a lot about basketball coaching vacancies lately. Here's another one. Oregon State, Damon Stoudamire is thought to be one of the top 2 or 3 remaining candidates. Beavers are going to talk to him and to Terry Porter before making their final choice. Does he get the job? Why or why not?
Wow. I don't think Damon's going to get the job. I hope I'm wrong because I really like him and respect him. I just don't think he'll get the job because maybe he's not ready for it. And that's me talking. That's not a qualified person. But he might be smart, and we talked about this off camera, he might be smart to wait and not go to a toxic place like Oregon State that has been 25 years of failure.
Oregon State, Greg, we talked about this earlier, has sort of sampled every flavor of basketball coach over the years. So take me through that.
Well, they've had the trusted assistant, Jimmy Anderson, he got fired. They had the hot shot from the small school, Eddie Payne, he got fired. They had the hot minority candidate, Richie McKay, he got fired. They had the top assistant from a good school, Jay John from Arizona. And then they had the president's brother-in-law. So how do you beat that field?
I know that Craig Robinson, I think, burned some bridges up there, and that's why he's unemployed in April as opposed to in March. But was letting him go the right decision, do you think, in retrospect?
I think they may be rethinking it now, even though they knew they're probably going to have to fire him, because I don't think there's a ready replacement or a good ready replacement, and I think they might get embarrassed. If they don't pull somebody out of the hat, there's almost nobody they can pull out of the hat right now who's going to make the Oregon State fans go, wow, I want to buy a ticket.
Yeah, the only other team nationally that's really even attempted that here in April has been Missouri. You know, Missouri lost their coach, Frank Haith, and decided to replace him, and they did a quote-unquote national search and settled on a D2 coach from just down the road. Now, Kim Anderson was a former assistant and a guy who the alumni base likes, but he's not a big splash. Now, I dare say Missouri's twice the basketball program Oregon State is.
Oh, more than twice. And they're still yawning in Missouri.
Yeah, because he's just a guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy. This is Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Ryan Finley here with Greg Hansen. Greg, if Damon were to end up the head coach at Oregon State, what would be his recipe for success there?
He would have to hire a guy like Jim Rosborough to be his lieutenant and to oversee everything and to advise him on everything. Because come on, he's what is he, 40 years old? He's been on the bench for 2 years at Arizona, 1 year at Arizona, 2 years at Memphis. He needs somebody like Jim Rosborough, but it's not going to be Jim Rosborough. But there are guys out there like that who he's met through his career. That's the guy he'd have to sell himself with.
Wow, Jim Rosborough wouldn't go?
Jim's 69. He had a chance to go to Memphis with Josh Passer, and that didn't work. So, and he and Josh were like this. He's not going.
Wow. If we're just spitballing kind of off the wall Oregon State head coaching candidates that aren't the guys we mentioned, who's out there would make a good fit?
Well, I'm stealing this from you, but I think Cameron Dollar from Seattle, that's a guy. That's a guy who you could sell. I don't think any of the other retreads from the West Coast Conference or even the WAC Conference, I just don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, I would think somebody like a Randy Bennett, maybe a guy who was a hot sort of mid-major coach a couple years ago. The shine has come off of him a little bit. But then again, we're talking $2 million plus per year to give a guy. It shouldn't be this hard to find a good fit.
Randy Bennett's been right there. Why hasn't he gotten the jobs he's been mentioned for over the years? He's been right on the edge of about 5 Pac-12 level jobs and he didn't get them. So there's got to be something there. And I like the Weber State coach, Randy Rahi. I think I would hire him if Damon doesn't get it.
Wow. How about Kerry Keating at Santa Clara?
Kerry Keating, Santa Clara's coming back now. And he's got UCLA connections, so why not?
Sure. Well, we've now mentioned every coach in the West Coast, so probably it's a good time to jump off. For Greg Hansen, I'm Ryan Finley. We'll check in next week once Oregon State has a new head coach and to update Steve Kerr. This is Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. We'll see you next time.
At Domino's, we're slowing down to make our handmade pan pizza the right way, taking our time to hand press the fresh dough into the pan, adding 2 layers of cheese, and slowing our ovens down to get the crust golden and crispy. So try a Domino's handmade pan pizza with 2 toppings for just $7.99.